yeah, thanks everyone for being here at our last meeting until September. We're taking like a 2-month hiatus for the summer. We have a lot to talk but we'll have a lot of events and fun things going on this summer for people to plug into, so we'll talk about that too. But yeah, I'm going to pass to Charisse to start us off with an overview of the CLT.
Okay, so good morning, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Okay, we're gonna. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Afternoon. Good morning. Good afternoon. We're gonna do an overview, updates, and then community development proposals, and then close out. Okay. I don't want to read too much off the board, off the screen, but yeah, this is just a overview of Eastern New York Community Land Trust, and it's a membership organization. We do a lot of different things. Mainly our mission is to protect, stabilize, and expand the stock of affordable homes, locally owned small businesses, worker co-ops, and green spaces in Eastern New York and Brownsville for the benefit of its residents. All of us.
Okay.
And I like. Okay, thank you. So yes, this is what we're fighting for. Tariffs, neighborhoods, policies. Any questions?
So far, you're good.
Okay, I don't have any questions. Okay, yes, in 2024, we made history as the first community CLT in New York City to privately acquire a multi-family building, and is in the process to renovate it and convert it into a co-op.
And we're hoping to replicate this throughout the neighborhood, right? Like we're continuing to organize tenants, and we want this to be the first of many buildings that we're able to buy and put in tenant ownership. Yeah, it's a closed door, but then it gets hot, so it's a trade-off.
Okay, yes, and we have 3 committees. We have land and anti-speculation, policy advocacy and organizing, and community education and organizing. And we'll see if there's any updates. If each committee would like to give a quick update. So, Ivy, is there any updates you want to share for LAS?
Yeah, sure. Hold on, yeah, I got too much stuff in my lap. Hi, I'm Ivy Lewis. So much great energy in the room. So I guess 2 quick things. So as y'all know, we do a lot of research on speculators in the neighborhood, and that's just to see what landlords are being good landlords and what landlords aren't being so good. So recently we looked into the potential owners of 257 and 255 Pennsylvania Avenue. Mm-hmm. We are still digging into that, so if you want to, dig up some tea, work with us on that, because we need all the tea on this landlord. They're really interesting. And then we're also working towards doing a landlord research class, potentially in September. So that's what we're working on. Hopefully we'll see y'all in not this coming Tuesday, but the Tuesday after. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, and next week, PAO is Brianna here.
But Jacob, maybe take it forward.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Alright, I just provided.
Yeah, sure.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Boris Santos, him. I am your mighty president. I was voted by you about 2 years ago. I'm going to go on 3 years in November to be your president. Before that, I was a treasurer. And before that, I was a co-founding member before we even became an incorporated non-for-profit. And now we're as big as this, when before we was like only a third. So clap it up for yourselves. while others are food shopping, doing laundry, and a whole host of other things. I usually, when I throw down in the committee work, so by the way, just quickly, there's a board of 15 of us, or up to 15 of us. I'm the president. There's others around the room that probably are board of directors. A lot of them are absent today, so Amanda, thank you. Woo, not the only one. I'm at 6. There's 6 right now. All of them voted in by you guys, or at least prior to some of you joined in at different points. So we're stronger than this because a lot of people are absent, doing other things. But in policy and advocacy and organizing, PAL, we call it PAL, last CEO. But in PAL, we're talking about COPA, Community Opportunity to Purchase Act. That gives a right of first refusal to us, community land trusts, and to nonprofits. When a building goes up for sale, a building that's less than 4 to 5 units, goes on the market, we will have to be verified and we could put in an offer, right? So we're fighting for legislation like that gives us more power to be able to create the 248 Arlingtons that we saw before, to be able to fight for people so that they don't live in squalid conditions, in disrepair, and that they have democracy and input and also ownership eventually down the line for their housing. So we're fighting for COPA. That's one piece of legislation. Jacob, clap it up for Jacob. So besides the board, we don't do every minute by minute work, but there's staff members, Amalia, who's our organizer, Jacob, who's our policy person, and then our mighty director, Hannah Anouche. I always try to fill in the gaps where we need them for context for everybody. And Shantun was absent. Shantun is our project manager for 248 Arlington. And so Jacob put out a report, or helped to put out a report with everyone's help, on the tax lien sale. The tax lien sale was one of our first campaigns. For those that don't know what a tax lien sale is, basically debt on a property. Whether it be property taxes that are once owed, or taxes when it comes to water, stuff of that nature, gas, etc. All of that gets bundled into a trust that is controlled by Wall Street and then sold and compounded, which can lead to the foreclosure of homes. And we have sadly been on the top 3 list of that lien sale for the last decade and a half or so. But it's all right, because we're fighting to abolish that lien sale. That's what that report is about. And since we've actually taken that on as a campaign, we've only had 1 lien sale in the history of since Eric Adams. So that's something that we're also fighting for here, and we're talking about, and all of that sort. And then there's one more thing. HPD is putting out what the profiting limit could be for a condo co-op. So what is the resale formula look like, right? And that is something that we're also, as nerdy wonks, diving into in the POW committee. So those are the top 3 things. Jacob, did I miss anything? No, that's it. All right, thank you.
Just to recap, it's COPA, taxing sale, and what was the last one?
Some wonky formula thing about profits, the limited profits you can make in a condo co-op model.
Right, yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, and last but not least, community education and organizing. Any updates for that?
Okay, we've been deciding who's gonna do it. You want me to do it? Okay. Okay, good morning everybody, Deborah's not here. I'm Amanda, I'm on the board. So community education and organizing, we do as it says, connecting with community, doing outreach events, and planning fun things for all of us to do. So right now we're working on the soiree, we're trying to settle on a location. We're gonna do it at a bar this year. So figuring that out, that'll be at the end of September. What else? We're gonna plan a barbecue for us at the East Brooklyn Liberation Center, because that's almost official. We're gonna have a block party Arlington, August 22nd. And then we're gonna do the ceramic tile painting in October. At some point, we're planning that. And then there's tons of other events that we'll be tabling at. Jump for John is happening again, so we'll be there. Yeah, lots of things happening this summer. So there's no meetings, but we'll be busy. So please join our committee. We need support. Good? Did I miss anything? No beach. No beach. No beach this year? No beach. We're tired.
It was so much work.
So much work.
It's so much work and it's not as many people come to
Yeah.
this far.
So if you want to go to the beach, join the committee. Yeah, people can join the committee if you're feeling. Yeah.
We have this sign-up sheet that I'll leave at the front by the sign-in, normal sign-in, that has like different tabling and door knocking we'll be doing this summer. This is not so much like the fun events, but more like, you know, tabling at the farmers market, the things that we actually need members to like help do outreach at. So if you want to look at it, see if there's, you know, at least one of these days that you can sign up for, it's over here in the front.
Alright, so yeah, this is information about the membership. Raise your hand if you're a community member. Anybody live in East New York? Okay. Or Ocean Hill? Okay. Raise your hand if you're an allied member. Okay, thank you. Okay. Everybody else may be thinking about it or alright.
Or anyone who's their first time here, first time at a CLT meeting.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Alright, so the benefits, you'll see, these are the benefits. And yeah, there's trainings, we have a WhatsApp group. And yeah, the community members pay dues, you have to live in the community. And an allied members, you live outside the community. And you can't vote, yeah.
Yeah. So if you live in the community and you're a member, you would vote on any decisions that we make as an organization. Because yeah, everything we do, like all the decisions we make are democratically made by all of our members, so. Yeah.
Okay, so far, so our goal is 110 new members. I'm a new member this year, maybe a few months. Yeah. Yes, and yeah, so right now we're at 73 dues paying members, 21 new members in 2016, 20 and 26 so far. And yeah, and let me see anything. Okay, yeah. And this is where the dues go, rent, utilities, supplies, food, technology, flyers, and staff.
And member dues are on a sliding scale, so it ranges from $5 a month to 20 or 40. And if you're not able to pay, we still want you to, you know, be a member and participate, because that's how we do this work that we're doing. So there's also an option to opt out of paying and still become a member.
Can I say something about this too?
Yeah.
And also, I mean, this is just really important for our goal as an organization because we don't want to have to rely on foundations and, you know, other sources, even other donors for funding. We want a self-sustaining organization, and we think we can do that by growing our membership.
See. Yeah. So yeah, the CLT exists because of our members. The success of this work depends on everyone here. If you're interested in becoming a member, stay for a few minutes after the meeting and we'll help you sign up.
There's these QR codes all over the room too that just go to our member sign up page, and it's really easy, so feel free to scan and look at that. Yeah, thanks, Sherry. Cool, so I just wanted to share that we're having a training in the same spot, same time next Saturday. It's a Know Your Rights session. We've had like several of these over the past year. So we'll have some housing lawyers there, and we'll be getting into like the nitty-gritty of first covering like tenant organizing and how to come together with your neighbors to fight for better conditions and to stand up to your landlord. But then also hearing from the lawyers about like what are your legal rights to repairs, and to like a safe habitable housing. What does that mean? And what are your options if like those things aren't being met by your landlord. So yeah, I encourage anyone who wants to come. We have flyers in the front if you want to also take some and share with anyone. It's from 12 to 2:30. We'll have lunch. And yeah, the lawyers will be there to also, like, if you want to just come and ask questions about situations in your apartment, you can also come do that. Any questions? Okay, another training that's coming up that is really exciting is this one called Union School. This is a training that started last year and it's put on by the Tenant Union Federation, which is like a network of tenant unions throughout the US. And it's this like really thorough training about tenant organizing and basically walks you through like all of the steps, the strategy, how to talk to your neighbors, how to just like be really disciplined about getting our buildings organized. Some of us CLT staff took this last year and it was great. We learned so much. We like met a bunch of great organizers. I still use a lot of what I learned like every day when I'm organizing. So yeah, we want to just open this up to any members who want to participate with us this year. It's a pretty big commitment because it's weekly. It's from 6 to 8 every Thursday from July to September on Zoom. So you have to be able to commit to that, or at least most sessions. And yeah, these are the people who are committed so far to taking it. But yeah, just sharing in case anyone else in this room is interested.
If you want to get a serious, rigorous training as an organizer, do this. It is so good.
Yeah.
I can't recommend it enough.
They don't offer stipends or anything, I'm assuming, for people who participate.
I don't think so. I don't think so. But it is, I mean, it's all on Zoom, which helps a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, if anyone, I'll share out after the meeting today more information about it too. We have to apply by end of next week. So let me know if you're interested, and we'll apply as a group for the CLT. So just if you just let me know, I'll add your name to our application. Yeah, it's great.
Is this a yearly training?
It is yearly, yeah. Yeah.
And every Monday?
Every Thursday.
Thursday.
From 6 to 8, yeah. Oh yeah, that's on here. It's a little small, but July 9th to September 17th, every Thursday. Yeah. Cool. Any questions about Union School? Other questions? Okay. Hannah, do you want to share?
Raise your hand if you've heard about 161 Jamaica. Okay, that's most people, but not everyone. The East New York Community Land Trust board and members identified that not having a space of our own was an obstacle for our long-term growth as an organization. We're constantly moving from space to space to have these general membership meetings. Sometimes they're noisy, sometimes they're too small. We have to transport materials every time. It's a lot. And so, we felt that we really needed a space that was large enough to house our members and really like have a home of our own, to be able to do more cultural events and really nurture this community. And also we feel like if we're gonna stand a chance against gentrification and displacement in this community, we really need deep collaboration with other organizations. And so we wanted a space for that as well. So when we saw that this building, 2 doors down, was on the market, and Boris emailed me, he was like, I think this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, or something like that. And because it's such a large space, and so we jumped on it. And later we found out that many of our members actually had a lot of memories in this building, like Anna. You had your 60th birthday party?
That was a surprise party for me.
Yeah.
I walked in and thinking it was somebody else's party. And looking for them, and then everybody turned around and said, surprise! So yeah, this is that memory.
Yeah, because the upstairs was a party hall called Silver Spoons. And another of our members, actually, his sister ran it. So anyway, it holds a lot of history. And we're in contract to buy the building as of December. We've been in contract. Yeah, you can see some photos of it. You could even walk by after the meeting. So yeah, this is just a little bit about the process of how we got here. So in September, the membership voted for us to move forward with the acquisition and actually make the offer to the owner. And that was unanimous. So then we negotiated the price with the owner, got it to $2.3 million, and we began serious fundraising. And we've actually, okay, never mind. Did you take that? Okay, that's okay, that's okay. So we actually have raised $861,000 just in donations so far.
Wow.
And we actually have not had to take a commercial mortgage at all. We're taking 3 low-interest loans at 3% interest, which is unheard of. And then we're also getting 3 zero-interest loans.
Wow.
So because of all that, we are actually going to be able to make sure that the building is deeply affordable to the future tenants, including ourselves. We'll be a tenant in the building. So that's really exciting, and we'll be doing a lot more visioning about like how we're going to use the space and all that once we own the building. It's been very time intensive to like do the fundraising and all that, but we'll spend a lot of time together doing the visioning and bringing in an architect and all that, and that will be really fun and exciting. But definitely the building needs a lot of work. So, you know, once we get in there, I mean, we've been in there just a couple times, but we'll get a much deeper sense of when we can all actually be in the space and whatnot. Any questions? I forgot to say. So we were originally going to close June 8th, Monday, but working with 3 lenders who actually are all pretty new to making real estate loans has been a little bit slow. So we were actually able to secure an extension until June 30th, and we really needed that. Yeah.
There is no apartment available for, let's say my building takes too long to become a co-op, so I want to move to this one.
Yeah, good question. Good question, Sina. So it's just a community space. So there's no housing. Yeah. But we'll talk about that whole process of relocation and everything with your building some more. Yeah. Any questions? Yeah, Ethel and then Julie.
You still doing the fundraiser?
Yeah, so I mean, I think we have until June 30th, so let's use it. Let's just try to get every donation we can, because that's just going to bring the affordability level down even further, and that's what we need. Because, you know, it's the mortgage payments that will make it unaffordable. We can't have that. Yeah.
If we can, for the CD5 meeting, if everybody can come to the transportation meeting, because I'm trying to get elevators for Van Sicklen here to make it easier to travel.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because I just got the elevators for Norwood. I'm also fighting for Crescent, Cleveland, Van Sicklen. But since parents of the schools are not coming to the meeting, I'm thinking maybe for this meeting, Van Sicklen and Crescent. This way people could travel Gateway Mall, First Pond, and here.
That's awesome. Okay, yeah. So, Julie and then.
Are you ever ready to say who gave the 3% loans?
Yeah.
Like Brooklyn Co-op or another?
Sure. So the 3% loans that are, you know, are essentially, they're backed by the building. The building is collateral. That's New Economy Projects Loan Fund, Working World Loan Fund, and then a family foundation that likes to be anonymous. Yeah.
So as Fleur was mentioning, the transportation committee, I'm the co-chair for that committee. So we're trying to push forward anything, slide that's dealing with transportation, fields, what have you. So you got to remember, I'm asking.
Okay, awesome. So let us know when the meeting is.
It's every third Monday.
Every
So
third
Monday,
Monday.
it's coming Monday.
We can send that out to everyone, or
Okay.
maybe you could put it in the WhatsApp?
Sure.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. Yes.
If I understand, it's gonna be like a community center. If one of us has a wedding, we can use that spot, give you a small donation because we are already member. If you win for somebody that died, just like they have in
Yeah.
Whitetail.
Yeah, another great question. So I think something that one of the first things that we need to do all together is decide on like the ground rules for use, because probably everyone is gonna wanna use it in some way. So we'll have to figure that out. But we really want, once the building is renovated, for there to be space for a shorter term rental for events. That's like the vision, and the vision is also to make the rooftop part of the event space. So yeah, because also that will help bring in revenue for the building that we need to operate it. Yeah, yeah. But I will say, so you know, it's gonna take a couple of years to do the full renovation. Because we want to do like a really nice renovation. We want to put in an elevator, speaking of elevators, do the rooftop, and make it like the nicest community center in all of Brooklyn.
Come on now.
Okay, so we're gonna spend the rest of the meeting today a little more like interactive and reviewing actually some proposals for development in the community and like trying to together figure out like how we feel about these proposals. And I don't know, Boris, do you want to like introduce the three? Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So up to this point, there's been a lot of one person talking up here and going back and forth, right? We're gonna switch things up, and I think most meetings should be in this type of format where we actually break out and you guys do most of the talking. And there's gonna be two things we're gonna talk about. I'm gonna nip in the bud number 2 right here. So just don't look at this as a blank canvas. There's only 2 things we're gonna talk about right here. So the first one, think about which one is of most interest to you, because that's where you're gonna go. And the reason why we can't talk about number 2 today is because we're missing our third facilitator. Unfortunately, she's out sick, Miss Deb, the phenomenal Miss Deb. But it's all right. We're gonna break down and talk about what's happening at 341 Highland Boulevard. Yeah.
And we'll share the slides so you can stay updated on the conduit corridor plan.
Yeah. So you're gonna receive printed copies of this. Am I right? I'm not telling lies, right? I'm on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have a couple copies.
So you'll receive printed copies of these. Hopefully you have enough. If not, you can share with a partner. We're all about sharing here. But so you're gonna talk about what's happening. Option 1, group number 1. What is happening at 341 Highland Boulevard, which is approximately like 5 blocks away from here. You go up, you turn a left up Miller Hill, and then you make a right, and you go towards the reservoir, towards the park, and it's right there, right? And there's this rezone proposal of a 9-story building happening. So we're gonna talk about that, right? Right next to the park. And then the second option you're gonna talk about is our Jewel Streets campaign, where the city said we need to do a neighborhood plan. And what does that neighborhood plan entail? The city wants to see some density increases along Linden Boulevard. So you get to talk about Linden Boulevard from the conduit all the way up until like Euclid Avenue, about what the city is planning for us there, right? This exists in a larger scope of a whole bunch of other things, which is like the reason why we fought for actually the Jewel Streets. We didn't fight for a neighborhood plan. We fought for the Jewel Streets because it sits like 20 feet below regular grade level. It's like a bowl, right? And then at the bottom, the water table is really high. So, and there is no sewage infrastructure. So anytime it rains, that water stays there. And then water from from the ground level seeping up on people's basements. So what we fought for here, the city put on some commitment, $100 million to do some short-term sewage upgrades, but then said we're gonna do something called blue belts. So natural ponds, so the water can stay and then eventually retain there and eventually drive off to the nearby bay, right? And we always make history out here. And that'll be the first blue belts that we see in all of Brooklyn. And there's only blue belts in actually Staten Island. And if you know Staten Island a little bit or two, you know that that's mostly nature. It's less residential and suburban, right? So we're making history, as we always do here, in a good way. But then the city said there's trade-offs. I heard the word trade-offs the second time now. The important word, there's trade-offs in life. Not everything is black and white. But they said, okay, you can do that, and we're gonna get also, they're gonna get sewage infrastructure up there, the Jewel Streets. And it's gonna be like state-of-the-art sewage infrastructure. It'll handle the most amount of rain per X amount of time out of any place in the city. But then they said, we wanna do density increase on Linden Boulevard. So you'll talk about that. One more time, 341 Highland Boulevard, and a rezoning proposal by some developers that wanna create market rate rent near the park. Or the Jewel Streets, right? The second one was actually the conduit plan, which is part of the broader Jewel Streets, which is the remaking of all of the conduit, from Atlantic Ave all the way to like the casino racetrack, right? So this is also part of this that we're gaining, but we gotta shelve that for later on. So there's three big things, two now, but yes, Hannah.
And we're gonna try to see if DOT can come to present about the conduit plan in September, so, you know, there will be more on that.
Yes.
So based on the conduit corridor plan, because they did come before transportation committee,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
they did the presentation already. We asked if you're doing something like that, that we suggest that you do multi-meetings because it affects a lot of people in those areas. Coming to the committee and stating what the next steps are is not enough. You just can't come in and say that you're going to make these moves. It affects community in so many different levels. Community needs to have input with your decision in regards to this planning. And Deborah is part of my committee. She's my committee member in there. So based on all of these topics here, they do come through. They do come through my committee. And so we're really pushing a lot of those concerns. And it would behoove a lot of the members here from CLT to please show face, is to help us pose those questions in the places where they are. And so I'll continue to make that into our chat. So when we do have our meetings, we coming in with full force.
We can go to them, i.e. you at the community board, but they can also come to us. So that's what we're trying, right? So we'll
And Anna could read that
So-
in September.
yeah, and then you can talk about it in September when they come around the Department of Transportation. So we'll talk about these two groups, basically these broad questions. What do you think about the proposals? What do you like? What do you don't like? What do you view as a change that needs to happen? And then what are our next steps? Let's talk strategy, right? So we're always talking about the content of what's being proposed, and also we're planning for how to go about to get our desired outcome, right? So those are two things. Who's ready? Who's ready? All right. Don't be shy. This is not the time to be shy. This is the time to be loud, all right? This is the time, and there's no question is a dumb question. We all need to operate from the same base of knowledge, right? If not, we can't be as creative or as constructive as we want to, all right? So make sure you ask all the questions and that you understand. Because without understanding, you can't move forward to where we want. Got it? All right, now let's see how we're gonna break this up. Where's number one and number two gonna go?
Number one
Number one right here.
on this side.
On this
number
side.
two on this side.
You need a tape?
We only have a few printouts, but I think I don't know.
I have a laptop for my number one, which is Highland over here. Number two over there. Number one over here. Number two over there. 123 affordable. That's the definition of speculation according to us, profit making off of our land. We talked about how the Roman Catholic Diocese is in bed. There's a 99-year ground lease model that's trying to lease the property to the developers for them to do this development. And we talked about the timeline of how the developers want to get from square one of these 5 structures to the last square of that 9-story building. And the last thing we did, I have some homework. So I asked everybody, well, what's an alternative? And I gave them these 4 options. Like, do you want to see that monstrosity? I'm just at this point calling it monstrosity. It's not just my opinion, so I can say it now, right? Do you want to see homes, right, which is existing zoning? Do you want to see a smaller residential building, maybe 150 to 180 apartments? Do you want to see a community facility, community center, multi-service? So I had our folks rank them, but I don't have enough time. I am not a wizard, y'all, to see where the posts of the things are at. All right, so we will do that. But by the way, that's how true community planning is. It isn't me, I got money, and I own this land, and now I want to shove this down your throat. What do you think about it? Yes, please. Right? That's not community planning. Community planning is, let me go to the people, I have this land, I want to do my due diligence, and I want to build what you guys want to see. That's what we're about. See, if we don't exist in that ecosystem of real estate, then that's not how it gets done. So I just want to say that takes us back to our root. That's how we first started as an organization. We were seeing vacant lands everywhere, public land. We say, what do you want to see there? What do you want to see there? So this reminds me of that. But I have homework to do, and I hope to release. And please sign in if you haven't, so you could get a copy of all the slides, including the ones that you saw in our group. All right. So that's what we chatted about, and the conversations will continue. There's a community board meeting June 26th, June 26th, about the site at Pennsylvania Avenue, Maxwell High School on Pennsylvania. All right? Thank y'all.
And become a member if you're not one yet.
What about Jewel Street? So you have to talk about.
Oh. So yeah, I mean, we talked about how the city, in exchange for, committing to connecting everyone to the sewer system, which is just basics, right? And committing to creating these blue belts, and doing the pre-disaster buyout program, the city wants to rezone a large chunk of Linden Boulevard to allow for a lot more housing. Because it will probably be mandatory inclusionary housing, like 30% of it will be affordable. At what affordability level, unclear, right? Like, it could be still pretty unaffordable, but a lot of it will be market rate. So they're allowing, it would, if they, do this rezoning, it would allow for a lot more market rate and some affordable housing on Linden Boulevard, and I think people were really, really skeptical about that. It's already an area that's very under-resourced. There's very little transportation over there, and you want to put a lot more housing and a lot more density, and you want to do it before you install infrastructure and connect people to the sewers. Like, that is really, I think the general consensus is that that's pretty unjust. Does anyone else want to add anything? Or to?
You said the hashtag is infrastructure before development?
Yeah. Infrastructure before development.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I feel like you have some good points.
And
Okay, never mind.
Kelly said, Kelly said that it seemed like a real public safety issue. To be frank.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just the point about continuing to add housing to an area that's already under-resourced, and instead of focusing on also building out public space and on what the existing residents want, we really need to push back on just stacking housing and housing and housing. In an area that also has a lot of environmental concerns baseline, so that's what a lot of our group was saying too. Yeah.
There's no parking. They just build in houses. There's no parking. That's another thing. And if they want to do the one on the Atlantic, I don't know how far it's going. What about transportation? People traveling in and out for job and housing. So,
Yeah.
okay, they should consider most of those things. I don't say don't do it. It's not going to glorify the people. They consider what the community wants and what
Yeah, the transportation.
Yeah, transportation
Especially
and
if
parking. Yeah.
Especially if there isn't good public transportation. Yeah.
Yes.
Probably like, most probably won't even need to drive because it's gonna be like, the city, it's planned for the city, a bus for the city, everybody, you stay here, you do your thing.
Yeah.
It's like a charity, you know? So everybody's there for everything, the bank, everything there.
Yeah, that you should have to walk.
Yeah.
Everybody has to go drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
So, is this CLT's goal to do more tenant organizing to happen speak up about? Sorry. So is the CLT like planning to like do tenant organizing to have that?
Oh yeah, you mean individual streets?
Yeah, like what is our role in that?
Yeah, so Deborah, who has been leading this campaign for a while, and some other CLT members and residents, they've been organizing in the neighborhood for a while. And it's a lot of homeowners. It's a mix, but there's a good amount of homeowners. So part of the reason that this has been like flagged for the city and they're starting to make these plans for investment is because of like us, doing that organizing, bringing together homeowners. So yeah, now the fight is in like, okay, now that the city has committed certain things, we want to make sure that like residents are speaking up about like the timeline they want, how that should be carried out. So yeah, a lot of it is organizing and like talking to residents.
Okay.
And I saw you signed up for door knocking, so if you come to the drill streets, you'll meet some of them and like, yeah.
It reminds me of like how Broadway Junction went down. It was like people were organizing for, wheelchair accessibility at Broadway Junction. They were organizing to make it so that it's less of a mess there. It's better for the pedestrians. It's safer. All this stuff. But they were never gonna do that. They're like, okay, we'll do that, but we're gonna allow for all this like high-rise private development because they never want to just invest in infrastructure without it coming with market rate housing. And it feels like this is more of the same on that front.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks everyone. We can close out. I'll see you all at all of our summer events and celebrations.
If you had a hard time listening today, now you know why we need our own space.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, and if you want to record, because we're about to do Who Are We? Because I know you always want to record.
Oh, wait,
At this
and
point, I'd rather
just a
tell
reminder
you.
again that we'll be back in this space next week for a Know Your Rights session. So take a flyer if you're interested. Share with people.
For the last time of spring, because it's still spring, y'all, even though it feels like summer. We're going to do our chant. Ready? Who are we? The